would use your real names. I don't know who anybody is. Like, Guy, I mean, how would I ever know who you are? Yes, David, thank you. I see. After I said that, I saw your name. I had to laugh to myself. All right, let me put the screens on. Welcome to the 10-minute trades trade room. So there's every now and then there's good news in this world, and it looks like the vaccine is going to work against the mutated virus. So that looks like good news. Guy, I guess it's Guy for French, right? So my name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-Minute Trades. I live in Pennsylvania. Teach people to trade the futures markets. Remember, all trades are for educational purposes, that it is possible to lose money trading futures. So please trade carefully. Now, this is the jobs report. It's a challenging report. This is the jobs report. But it's been one of our best reports over the years. Everything has gotten challenging during the pandemic. The pandemic has made trading harder because reactions are different. So the biggest issue that we've had than any of the trading rooms, I think the biggest issues that most of the trading rooms have struggled with is if they're rooms that trade gold. You've seen how difficult gold is to trade. So one of the good things about what we're doing is we often have multiple setups. So I've got the ability to trade gold okay, but I also trade bonds. Bonds don't move as much. That's the issue. They do not move as much. Okay. Also, this report, you'd never know where the reversal's coming. It can be difficult. Bonds are an alternative option to gold, and it's the 15-year note that we trade, ZN. And you can see it's won the last 5 out of 6, but they're smaller winners. Okay, they're smaller winners. And a 5-tick profit should be good. Okay. I believe today. Okay, good, Jaquan. I believe today the job numbers are going to be lousy. I mean, almost all the reports that we've traded, the job numbers that were parts of the various reports have been lousy. Now, forgive me, I'm wearing a full set of headphones, so I have my news a little bit loud in the background. Let's take a look at a recent trade. All right, give me a second. U.S. jobs. This is also called non-farm payrolls. It's got a couple of different names. Can you hear the news? I'm just curious. Can you hear the news? So here was December's trade. So I'm trading bonds on the left, and we're watching gold on the right. So you could see that bonds, they chop a bit. They hit my first target. And then they pull back. What I did is I loaded my contracts on my first target. And that's why I was able to make a decent amount of money with a small move and a quick reversal. Now, gold had a decent move, what looks like a decent move last month. Okay. It had what looked like a decent move. So, and it did. It moved a lot of ticks. It moved a lot of ticks. Gold has had it's had 4 out of the last 6. It's been pretty good. But gold, we know that sometimes the analysis of gold doesn't always match what really happened in the room, because sometimes the liquidity doesn't show how difficult the trade really was. Okay. In October, there was a huge whipsaw. Okay. Gold can be shifty and frenetic. It has a big bracket, an 830 entry. Okay. It has quick reversals, slippage. There's a lot of reasons that gold is difficult to trade on this report. And you have pre-trade volatility. So my gut feeling is I'm going to trade. I would rather trade gold. And I know that my boss would rather have me trade gold. Lou, I can't do anything about the charts at this point in time. You can relog in, try a different browser is the best I can help you with. There's nothing. Is anybody having any problem with charts? Anybody? Because I'm sure everybody can see everything. Lou, it's probably your browser, so try using a different browser. So gold, you're definitely dealing with the most volatile instrument to trade. Now, everybody will say, well, hey, you could trade the ES on the jobs report, and you probably can. But these are the instruments that we have chosen that have been working for us the best on these reports. Okay, so we know that there's other instruments that will work. Okay, we know that. But that doesn't mean we're necessarily going to trade them. We're going to trade what we have found works the best for us. Okay, I mean, that's what we do. So I understand you could probably get away with trading the ES on this report. I don't particularly care for the ES on news if I can avoid it. It doesn't always move in a consistent manner. Okay. I'm just curious. How do you tell if a chart looks wrong to trade? That's what a chart looks like when it's wrong. See how the candles aren't formed and they're all a mess? I wanted to just see what the next forward contract on bonds looked like. And then when you go to a proper chart, you could see that your candles are better formed. Okay. So you could see, if gold gave me great stability, I would really want to trade gold. It just doesn't give us the stability that I want for a trade as risky as this. Okay. Now, what I'll probably do is trade 3 contracts on my bonds on my first target. It's like I said, I'd like to trade gold, but the results, they just don't give you the stability that I would like. So I'm going to trade bonds. I decided last night that I was going to trade bonds before I went to sleep. Let me show you another trade. December we looked at. Let's look at November. You know, Canada has their jobs report this morning also, and it is a tradable report. So here's bonds 2 months ago. This news generally comes out on time, but even though it's a very popular, quote unquote, it's the sexiest of all the reports, my rules are going to be the same. If the news is late, if things are chaotic, if things don't look safe, I'll cancel the trade. I'm not embarrassed if I don't trade the trade, okay? There's no embarrassment. If situations are not correct, then we don't trade. Now, you could see that didn't have a good follow through, that report, and it wasn't possible to get much profit. It just wasn't there. And gold had an okay move. I mean, gold, the problem is that because of the elections, because of what happened in the Capitol, gold is much more volatile than I think it would have been had, you know, the election been handled normally. So I think we all know that gold has gotten a different type of attention from traders since the world crisis began. Okay. So now there are some interesting reversal points on bonds. You've got the low of the day on sitting on S1. You have the high of the day. The worrisome part about the high of the day is the PP is right above it. I would prefer that they would be closer. I would prefer if they were closer. Normally on this trade, because it is such a tense and a difficult trade, I generally just look for one trade on this report. Bonds, the ticks are half of 31 and a quarter, half of 31 and a quarter. Gold is $10 a tick, but it's just the volatility of gold that lets me trade bonds. It's not that it's necessarily going to work. It's just that the market is a calmer market to trade. So look, if you're going to trade gold, you have a 20 tick stop. Okay, you need more margin also to trade gold. So, you know, you need to check with your broker what the gold margins are also. Gold is not $500 per contract. Bonds is much closer to the lower, you know, bonds on normal trading days is $500 a contract. It's because it's a calmer, more liquid market. Gold is usually somewhere around 2,000 per contract. And when the markets were really volatile at the beginning of the crisis, I think I recall gold being as high as 6,000. Let's look at October. October was a stop out on gold, I believe, and a no fill on bonds, which is very rare on this report.
We've had lots of conversations about trying to improve diversity on boards and management at corporations across the country, and there seems to be movement on this issue in a way that we haven't seen in quite some time.
So keep your eye on gold. You could see gold did a whipsaw, and that's what caused the stop out. Watch gold. It goes up first, fills you to the upside, and then stops you out on the downside. It pops up. You would have gotten filled. Bingo. That's a bad trade. Okay. You would have gotten filled either on this candle, the green one, and then you didn't have time to take profit or do anything. Bonds just didn't fill, so they were a cancel. It's a 10-second cancel. So we have a lot of people here. I want to welcome all the new folks. I want to welcome all the people watching on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining with us. I'm going to record this. I'm already recording this. Good. So do you want some honesty, folks? Do you want truth? The truth is I overslept. I've had the toughest, I think, with everything going on in the world. I've been staying up really late and watching the news really late. And usually I get up about 6:30 on Jobs Friday. I absolutely got up at 7:30. Now I'm fully prepared. I'm fully awake and drinking my coffee. But I haven't read my emails so let me look at my email real quick and just make sure my boss isn't saying, don't trade, something's wrong. Something's wrong, don't trade. All right, so I don't see any emergencies, anything bad. So I see a couple of folks tried to reach me. Enrico, are you here? Enrico, are you here? Did I put the wrong DMMs on the website? No, Sanji, don't tell me I did that. Well, we have the right DMM now. I can't fix them now. Did I not put the DMMs up on the website yesterday? You know, every day I do the same thing every single day. So Sanji, let me check. It might be your, I hope it's your browser. I hope it's your browser. So if I go to the website, because we have plenty of time. So Sanji's telling me, hey, the website screwed up the browsers. The DMMs are incorrect. So I can bring my account up here because I'm logged in, right? So I go to Daily Market Mover, DMM for tomorrow. Sanji, it's correct. It's correct. It's correct. Try a different browser. The biggest problem people have is browsers don't clear their cache properly. Strategy, I'm setting up my trade for bonds. I want to be early. Double click the strategy. I'm using a bracket of 3. My first position, I'm going to use 4 targets, and I'm going to use 1 contract for my second position. But because I'm using such big targets, so many contracts for us, and because the movement has been relatively small, I'm going to just take a target of 4 instead of 5. And it has never hit 15 ticks in the past 6 months. I'm just looking for 9 ticks on my second target. My stop is 6. What's 6 times 15? Somebody do some math for me. 6 times 15 times 5. 6 times 15 times 5. Steve, because you can't get it from the website unless you have a subscription. You have to be able to get access. Steve, you don't think I would try to rip you off, do you? You got it. You trust me more than that. 8/29/59 is the start time. In other words, the way the website works is when you create an account for yourself, you have access to certain items. In other words, if you didn't get the daily market mover as part of your subscription, then you're not able to retrieve it. Okay. If you got it, then you can retrieve it. So Steve, I'm not ripping you off. We're the most honest company that ever lived. That's hilarious. You can get it from the web. The reason that we want it on the website and the reason that we want it, the reason we send it through email is because sometimes the ISPs block emails. It's just the nature of life. They block emails. So we have a bracket of 3 for bonds. Bracket of 3. I always want my bracket, my break-even delay 0, break-even profit 0, break-even trigger 0. We could talk about those another time. I'll explain them. Position 1 is 4 ticks for me. Position 2 is 1 tick, and I'm just looking for 4 ticks and 9 ticks. I have a stop of 6. What's 6 times 15 times 5? 6 times 15 times 5. My entry time is 8/29. That's the risk. I'm coming up with the risk. 8/29/59 is my entry time. I'm going to label my trade. I'm going to choose my real account. I'm going to label my trade. ZN-NFP. Okay, I don't have to change anything else. That's all I'm doing. I'm not automating. This could be a very fast trade. Make sure my charts are on live. I am recording. So that's $450. In theory, I'm risking $450. Now, there looks like a possible, I'm going to put a reversal trade on. I'm probably not going to take one, but I want to have the opportunity. So I'm adding an extra strategy. Just one contract with a 10-tick target for a possible reversal because the chart looks really good for a reversal. One of the problems is it's very hard. There's so much news involved with non-farm payrolls. It's very hard to analyze everything. And that's why it's tricky to actually take a reversal and know that you're safe. So I'm just putting it up, reversal, ZN, because you never know. The trade could get canceled and there might be a reversal after that. It's possible. Now remember, reversal trades, when you choose the option, see how it's labeled? It gives you buttons. So you don't have to take the reversal, okay? So just watching gold on the right, okay? We may not be able to see it well. There are people that like to trade gold. I'm trading 5 contracts. Now, I would not be doing myself a but I want to double check. Is AMP futures margins. My clearing broker is AMP. There's normal day trade. The normal day trade scenario is in effect today. So I'm trading ZN, the 10-year. And the margin, look how low the margin is. It's 387 per contract. So you don't need $1 million. You need, so let's say you should have about $500 to $600 per contract in your account to trade bonds. Okay. I'm going to check my time and make sure I'm in sync by going to the website time.is. Now I know I'm going a little bit quick this morning. It just feels like time is going fast. So I want to be ready. I go to the website time.is to sync my computer, and it is in sync. Okay. I'm going to look at my trade. You're not going to be able to see it very well. Don't panic because it's enabled. I'm not going to disable it. I'm just checking my settings. Salvador, you got to get yourself in sync by using the tool Dimension 4, which is in the drive, the room drive at the top of your trade room. In this folder, room drive, is a file called Dimension 4. If I'm very off, I do not trade. If I'm very off, I do not trade. So I'm looking for 4 ticks and 9 ticks, a stop of 6. Everything looks normal. Look, if I lose money, I could lose $1,000 on this trade. Okay, it's possible. The bracket is a bracket of 3 on bonds, and I'm using targets of 4 and 9. The DMM says 5 and 15, but the movement hasn't been that big. Bracket of 3, entry time of 8:29:59. Targets of 5 and 15. I'm using 4 and 9. I'm using 4 and 9 with a stop of 6 because it's the first target that's been getting hit. It's a 10-second cancel. Okay. It's a 10-second cancel. So if it doesn't fill in 10 seconds, I'll cancel. And maybe there'll be an opportunity for a reversal. You never know. See how my trades are labeled REV? So if I wanted to cancel my reversal trade, I know that it's this top one that gets canceled by unchecking the check. That's why I label my trades, so I can read them. I can see them. We have a small bracket. Now, like I said, I can get stopped out. There's no guarantee. They're yelling at each other on the financial channels.
You're like the last. You could be the last remaining person that we need to run the entire government if something were to happen. You take over. Kate, what number?
So you could see gold is quite volatile before the report. So I'm just trying to pay attention. Just trying to pay attention. We've got about a minute and a half. I synced my time. My time is in sync.
Which happens to my legs so
My time is in sync.
They don't rest on anything on this set. And when I try and get up, they literally feel ossified. But that's very concerning to me that some of these people are going to have issues even after things come back. And I'm wondering
Okay.
what we need to do to help just that segment. But anyway,
I'm watching gold on the right. I'm trading the 10-year notes, ZNs. Non-farm payrolls is important. Unemployment rate is important. There's a lot of news. All right, we got 30 seconds to go.
okay, so vaccine issue. It was interesting. We had Dick Parsons on earlier, and he said he went to Florida to get the vaccine because there are places where is it the demand or the supply? There are people ready. I wonder if we're really dropping the ball on getting it out to everyone who would take it. So,
All right, folks.
Jason? Absolutely. It seems like we're indisputably dropping the ball right now, and 3/4 of the vaccines that have been delivered aren't in anyone's arms. That's crazy. Let's see if we have it. All right, Steve, I'm going to, in case, just so I don't want someone talking over the numbers, but you need an extra 30 seconds? Should we do it in 30
So I'm looking for, I'm not going to get it. It's not moving in our direction. It popped and didn't fill me. So using bonds, ironically, it looks like gold was a better move. Looks like gold was a better move. The news is totally mixed, totally mixed. So unfortunately, I mean, look, I have to use the exact setup that we use. And unfortunately, the trade didn't work. I traded a lot of contracts, but my risk was not so high because it's not a report that blasts through the trade. ZF got canceled. Unfortunately, it just did not hit my target. The unemployment rate is a little bit better than normal. The jobs report, the payrolls, it's very close in news, and that's one of our problems. Look how fast gold did a reversal. So if you just traded a reversal, you could have had a trade where you took a reversal right at the high of the day. But I was in my trade still, so I didn't have an opportunity to take a reversal. And because of the negative action now, the data it's quite bad. It's like I thought, but the market's not really responding the way that I would expect. Now, for some reason, the market likes this data more than it dislikes it. I want to put my charts on regular. So this is the first trade all week that hasn't worked. It's the first trade I've taken all week that has not worked. Did anybody trade gold? Did anybody trade gold and make money? Anybody trade gold and make money? I mean, occasionally, listen, folks, every trade's not going to be a winner. Every trade will not be a winner. It's a shame. Jaquan, what did you trade? Let's look at the video. We'll see what happened to me. Jaquan, what did you trade? Now, I might have had a little bad luck. I'll show you what the bad luck was. It's NFP, the U.S. jobs. Take a look at the video. Traded gold. So it looked like gold might have gone up first. We'll look at it on the video and see exactly what happened. Now, like I said, this is only the second jobs report in 6 that hasn't worked. So you're going to have those occasional reports that don't work on good reports. It's part of life. Jaquan made money on gold. So we'll look at gold and we'll look at bonds. So here was the setup, 8:30. Now the bracket didn't get anywhere near my target. It filled our bracket. A bracket of 4 would have been required to stay safe. Now, I tried also with the news being completely mixed. You had some positive, some negative, but really it's negative. Bonds should have gone up on negative data, and they did not continue up. That's why I did not jump out of the trade. Okay. I did not jump out of the trade. But it may be on this report going forward, it may be that gold is tradable. Okay. It may be that gold is tradable. The move down, it's kind of interesting because the news, there was a negative 140,000 jobs where they were expecting a positive job creation. That's bad news to me. That's bad news. But the unemployment rate is good news. Those are 2 very important numbers that create what I call mixed news. And mixed news can create that problem of not following through. I did not get the follow through that I should have had. I should have had a follow through on the long side. If you watch gold at 8:30, that's the time that gold would fill you. And there is a pretty good fill on gold as long as you could have gotten out. It was a very fast reversal, so it would have depended on your targets. Also, well, you had a 20 tick stop. Gold definitely was a better trade this morning. So that's going to happen sometimes. That is going to happen. So you know the story, folks. I do not go crying into a corner because I've had one bad trade. I'll come back next week. I'll trade all my trades and I'll make the money back. That's my plan. That's what I expect will happen. So you could see what happened. The bonds shot up. If you were just trading a reversal and you were quick enough, it's very hard to trade both a reversal and a breakout trade. So if you look and make believe in your mind, you're just looking for a reversal near the high of the day. Let's see if you would have had time to take that. So you're not trading the breakout. You're just looking to trade a reversal. So I'm looking. That was not possible to take that reversal. It just moved too fast. It moved too fast. So there was no way I could get out of this trade with a profit. It did not allow me the opportunity. It went up and filled me, never gave us the opportunity to get a profit on bonds. It just never did. Gold was not easy either, but gold, if you look at the move at 8:30, look at the top clock. Gold gave you the opportunity. Watch. Gold shoots up, goes down a couple of ticks. You definitely would have had a winning trade on gold if your targets were not huge. And I would have not used huge targets on gold. So it's a shame that we traded bonds. I'll probably go with gold in the future because it looks like it's trading better. We've had good success with bonds. We've made money more than we've lost. So this is the first non-farm trade that we have not made money on in a long time. So a couple of people made money. I'm seeing David made money trading gold. Jaquan made money. Who else? Anybody else? So on gold, going to get rid of my my trades. So just to look at the gold chart. So David's saying he was filled at 1886.40. 1886.40.
when you have the pattern
So at 8:30,
month after month, you have
now that would not have been an easy trade to get filled. It's all wick, okay? It's all wick. Sometimes when you have a trade that's all wick, you don't always get filled. You don't always get filled. So that was a very good break. The market gave you a little bit of a gift, but it wasn't so fast moving either. So even though it's wick, if it's not super fast moving, you may have that opportunity still to get the profit. So David, I think because of the speed of the move, that worked in your favor. That worked in your favor. So it is a shame, honestly. It's a shame that it didn't work today. So when I look at all the trades I took this week, 150, 233, 30, 410, 480, 380, I lost about $100 this week. So, I mean, when you think about it, it's not the end of the world. We did not do a lot of trades because the markets have been very, very volatile and strange because of what's going on in the world. And of course, what went on 2 days ago at the Capitol was unprecedented and incredible that the markets went up. So what's interesting is bonds are not breaking that low. They're not breaking that low of the day, nor is gold. Now, 10 minutes after the trade, we don't generally ever take a trade. It's just not the way we do things. And also now, if you're jumping in here, you'd be chasing it. You missed it. Okay. You would have missed it. So just to give you an idea, we only had one trade today. It's unfortunate that it didn't work. Now, next week, the trade room is not free. For members, I can tell you I've already done the schedule for next week. This is right now what our schedule looks like for next week. WASD with quarterly grains is one of the best reports that we ever trade. That's on Tuesday. The quarterly grains report has not been stopped out in over 2 years. It's been over 2 years. We have 10-year notes, API, core CPI, inventories, crude, 30-year bonds. Beige book, my setup has not been working, may not trade it. Natural gas, these are all my favorite trades. Friday is challenging because retail sales, and we'll check the calendars, is not trading alone. It's trading with PPI, Empire State Manufacturing. It makes for retail being quite challenging, but there's a lot of good trades next week. The point being is the one lesson you learn is one trade does not destroy an account. One trade, if you do things right, should not do damage to you at all. You have to have enough money to trade. So if you have one bad trade, you don't lose sleep over it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen more than once. That's might be the first bad trade I can remember taking in the trade room. Other than last Thursday, we lost about $50 on unemployment numbers. So you have to remember and keep everything into perspective, that we have had very, very few bad trades. So any questions, folks? This is our only trade room of the day today. Of course, I wish it was a winner. I always prefer spending my weekend with a winner on Friday, but it happens. It's going to happen. And proper risk management is critical. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if I would have traded 5 gold contracts and lost, $20 a tick is 200 times 5 contracts would have been a minimum risk, minimum of 1,000. I would have risked 1,000. Okay. So I was prepared to risk up to $700, $800 on this trade. And I traded 5 contracts and lost $468. It's not the end of the world. And we'll make it back. That's just what happens. We will make it back. Who has a question? Anybody have a question? Anybody? What's interesting is gold looks like the better trade. So there's not much you can do after the trade. You keep your journal, you make your notes. Keep your journal, make your notes, and you make your plans for the next trade. That's the way you do it. That's how you do it. It looks to me, let's take a look at the ES. Nothing will stop these markets from going up. It's like nothing will stop these markets from going up. The initial move was quite negative. It was quite negative, and it looks like it was also a winning move. So we might have had some bad luck in that we picked the one index that didn't work today. Okay. The ES looked like a good index. Definitely looked like a good index. Let's look at the NQ. Now, I don't like trading the NQ because it's too herky-jerky. The NQ looked exactly like the ES this morning. Looks like the ES. So it looks to me like the ES would have worked this morning. Gold would have worked this morning. Let's look at ZB. Bonds just did not give us the follow-through. Now, ZB went up first, depending what your targets were. ZB is a lower liquidity than ZN. So you have to actually run some tests rather than just look at it. You had a much better reversal area because the PP was sitting right at the high. They were sitting together. So what's interesting is that low of the day held. And it looks like it held on most of the indexes. It didn't get anywhere near the ES. The ES was trading in the middle of all of its important levels. So do we have any questions, folks? I mean, of course, you'll see many winning trades also. Today, it didn't work. And like I said, I just go on with my life and I look forward to the next trade. That's the truth. I look forward to the next trade. One bad trade does not make me want to go cry into a corner. So next week, really our first trade is Tuesday. And it's one of the best trades that we have in the company. WASD with quarterly grains. It's one of the best trades in the company. And we have 3 rooms on Tuesday, 4 rooms on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, and 2 on Friday. Okay. Yeah, you're like a cornerback. Exactly. You get burned and then you go right back out there and you make the next play. It's the only way you can live if you're going to trade. Otherwise, you can't do it. It's just that simple. Either you do it or you don't. There's no middle ground. There is no middle ground. All right. I'm happy to answer any questions. If anybody has a question they want answered. Anybody? If not, otherwise, I'll see everybody at on Tuesday. If you like, just because we had a losing trade doesn't mean you shouldn't join up with us. We've had many winners. If you like the way we trade and if you want to learn about what we do, you can go to our website, www.10minute trades. Sign up for our free weekly schedule. It's free. That schedule I showed, www.10minutetrades.com. And we'll send you that free schedule every week. And even if you're a normal trader, a discretionary trader, and you don't trade events, what if you were trading bonds and you didn't know about the jobs report today, that you had your head in the sand, but it's possible a new trader might not know? or if you were trading gold and you didn't know. If you have our weekly schedule, you would know. And you would know if you're a discretionary trader to be out of the market at the exact moment of a jobs report. That's the proper thing to do. Okay. That's the proper thing to do. All right. So I don't see any questions. So I'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining with us, all the folks that took advantage of our trial. Yes, I sneezed and it was over. It's a fast trade. This is one of the fast trades. So I'll see everybody next week. And if you want to learn, like I said, what we do, www.10minutetrades.com, and sign up for our free schedule. It's really it's a valuable tool whether you trade events or not. www.10minutetrades.com. Okay, folks, I'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you all later.